This video describes the setup for the optional use of separate purge gases for an FTIR optical bench, or in this case a PIKE GladiATR ATR accessory. Let me describe the setup. And there are three valves, ball valves, either go or no go, which will control the setup. So house air is coming into valve 3, and then we have a regulator, and then we have our typical purge gas generator that to take out the CO2 and to dry it. The house air that's feeding this setup is at least -40 dew point. The gas flow and control setup is as follows. Over here we have that FTIR purge gas coming into a small regulator with a gauge. And this is just a needle flow control valve, and then we have a coupling and then a T, and the flow can either is going to go this way or that way. Comes down here into a flow meter, and the important thing about the flow meter is it gives you positive feedback as to whether or not flow is actually going in this tubing. So you can see the little bubble, or the little ball is elevated off of its no flow condition, so we know we have flow, and then that's making its way here, makes its way to the optical bench. Alright, so that air is coming in, that clean air is coming in here, coming to this T, and it's going down here to the optical bench. The other path here is to valve 1, and so valve 1 is shut, so there's no flow here. There's no flow past this valve in this configuration. The second gas comes in here again to a regulator, mini regulator with gauge. You can't see this gauge because the PVC tubing support is helping to minimize strain on this system. And this right now, valve 2, is in the open configuration, so the gas would come through here, go into this leg of the T, back, and make its way here. Flow control valve and flow meter makes its way up through the flow meter to the this is the ATR purge connection. So right now we have no gas, and so the ball in the flow meter is in the resting position. So this is the configuration if we want air to purge the optics. We have 1 is closed, valve 3 is open, and valve 2 is open, and this will allow us the ability, if we hook up a separate gas cylinder, to have a different gas purge the ATR accessory. Suppose we say we don't need a separate gas for ATR versus the optical bench. Well, in that case, we have our flow of air coming in through here. We open up 1 into this configuration. So 1 is in the flow-through configuration, and we shut 2. Alright, let's shut 2. Alright. And now in this configuration, air is coming through here. It's going to the optical bench. It's also continuing here. It's being blocked here, so it's just going through this leg, through the ATR, and if we take a little look, we can see that the ball and the flow meter is off of the resting position. If we want to increase the flow, then let's see, let's open this some more and open that. Alright, and now you can see that the ball has increased off of the resting position. And if we want to go back to the condition that there's going to be no purge through the ATR, well, you just close this valve. Right. You notice this ball here dropped open. There's purge flow through the ATR. Closed. There's none. And over here by the optical bench, you can see that the flow through the optical bench is still there. So this is a configuration for optical bench purging with the air. So just have to make sure that 1 is shut and 3 is open. 2, 3 open. Alright. Next, we'll hook up nitrogen as the second gas and demonstrate the possibilities for the valves and the flows with that setup. And let's go over the setup when we have separate gases for the ATR, accessory, and the optical bench. So here we have the bleed off of nitrogen from a liquid nitrogen dewar, and it is going into the mini regulator, and valve 2 is open, valve 1 is cut, ATR purge flow goes here, and you can see that the little ball is above the resting area. If we shut the valve, ball drops, no flow. Open valve 2, and we have flow. And over here we have air coming in. Right. Yeah, valve 1 is shut. Air is making its way, goes down to the optical bench, and you can see the ball and the flow meter is above the resting position, indicating we have flow to the optical bench. And let's describe the situation if we want to have non-air purging both the optical bench and the ATR. So we want to cut the flow of the air feeding the FTIR purge gas generator, and we want to then have valve 1 open, So now the flow of the non-air gas is coming in, going on either leg of this T. Right? And we want to make sure that we have some sort of a flow, the ATR purge, so that's above the resting condition. And we want to make sure that we have flow for the optical bench, and that's above the resting condition. So, that's the set. I don't know why you would want to purge both the ATR and the optical bench with something other than air, but chemistry is an experimental science, and sometimes you do what has to be done in order to get the experiment completed.
This is an addendum to the video. The position of valve 3 has functionally stayed the same, but it's been moved to a more convenient position. So now valve 3 is here, and for reference, valves 1 and 2 are here. Same instructions as before. Originally, valve 3 was up here. That's no longer true. So, for the uses of the ATR purging with nitrogen or air, this is valve 3.